Have you ever struggled with what analysis means and how to actually do analysis? In this presentation, we'll demystify the analytical process by introducing practical strategies for analyzing a subject. We've broken these down into 4 basic analytical moves called aims. At any time, you may choose a tutorial for any of these 4 moves from the sidebar menu. The strategies you'll find here come from Writing Analytically by David Rosenwasser and Jill Stephen. First, let's review the moves. The golden rule of analysis is to acknowledge bad habits of mind that may often stand in the way of your ability to clearly analyze a subject. Here we'll address 4 analysis killers: judgment, opinion, generalization, and over-personalizing. Secondly, we need to identify the purpose and form of our subject by asking a series of important questions about it. What is it? Who made it? Who is it for? And why was it made? The third move, the microscope, is arguably the most important move in analysis. Just as a scientist needs to observe her subject closely and at length in order to draw conclusions about it, so will you be spending a good deal of time looking closely at your subject of analysis before you figure out what it's all about. The final analytical move is to step further, to now go beyond neutral observations and ask questions, narrow your focus, and posit conclusions based on your gathered evidence. Let's look a little more closely at the golden rule: acknowledging and suspending bad habits of mind. Generalization is the problem of falling back on the use of broad claims about your subject. For instance, the claim that fashion magazines cause eating disorders is not only a claim we've heard over and over, it's also a claim that tells us nothing specific about our subject. It's simply a repeated cliché. Humans are judgmental creatures. We decide how we feel about things pretty quickly, but sometimes we do so without enough evidence. In analysis, it's a good idea to suspend how you feel about a subject so you don't shut down critical thought and end up with statements such as, "The shows on PBS are boring," that tell us nothing about the subject other than your immediate reaction to it. Even though we may have really good reasons for holding the opinions that we do, those opinions can sometimes get in the way of meaningful analysis and of creating ideas. For instance, if I say, "I think affirmative action policies are wrong," I may have good reasons for this opinion. But starting with the opinion before analyzing the components of the debate will diminish my analysis and will really be the opposite of creating an idea. Over-personalizing a subject is very similar to jumping to opinions and judgments about it. All of these habits involve letting what we feel about a subject impede our ability to analyze it. For instance, many people struggle with understanding existential philosophy, but this really shouldn't stand in the way of our ability to look closely, ask questions, and formulate ideas about it. In the next installment of Aims, we'll be discussing how to identify the form and purpose of the subject you are analyzing.